Right, what do you think of a safe sex hamper for teenagers? Things like condoms, wet wipes, lubricants, for example. Well, a mum bought one for her 16-year-old, this hamper, and it caused a little bit of a stir. Colleen, would you have gotten one for...
Why have you come to me first with this topic, for goodness sake?
Because I can't always... Because I want to feel like I'm being balanced. I'm not always asking Rod the question.
No, please don't.
I would love one. I love it. I want to
You should have got one.
If there's anything in there I haven't already discovered, I want one.
That would have been a great present for you and your teens.
In that case, then I will go to you first then, Rod. You know, I know the boys aren't quite old enough for it, but is that something that you would see as being acceptable to buy for the boys?
I think if the relationship with the parents is a little on the shy side, then maybe that's a good way to go. But I believe in old parenthood-age, another word I've made up, parentage, that you should talk about it with the boys, you know, and explain what happens.
Oh, listen, when my boys were, like, teenagers and they were getting into all of that situation, I ran the safe sex bus to the local clinic for them and all their mates, you know, to get free stuff here, there, and we talked about it, because a lot of their friends found it difficult to talk to parents, and I thought it was more important for them to be safe. And, you know, and I would take them.
I've always loved that about your relationship with your kids. Is you are so honest about just about everything. And I feel like as teenagers, they would feel very comfortable like coming and
well, I tell you why I am, because when I was growing up, my parents weren't. So I went through a lot of stages of teenage, especially teenage angst and changes in your body and hormones and all of that I felt I didn't have anyone to talk to. And I remember that you're scared. You know, I was scared of everything, really. I didn't know what was happening. And I always remember thinking, when I have kids, I want them to be able to come to me with everything. And luckily, it's worked out that way, and I think it is important. I mean, I think now what's happening is, in my situation, my kids might be buying me that hamper for Christmas, Brenda, who knows? We're at that stage. I'm past teenagers, but, you know, they're treating me like the parents at the moment. You better be home before midnight, Mum, or we're locking the door.
Have you had the safe sex conversation with your eldest as yet?
Well, they learn it all at school, don't they?
Well, I'm not sure,
Yeah, we get letters about what they're going to be discussing. Even the really young ones, they're learning way more than we ever taught at school. And with the access to internet, they can pick it all up themselves if there's a word they're not sure about, or, you know. But I think just because you don't want them to be led down the wrong path, you know, Rod and I both talk to the boys, you know, at the right appropriate times, and we're open, and they're fine with that conversation.
I think, like you're all saying, times have changed so much from, you know, 15, 20 years ago, where the information, whether it be good or bad, is just out there for them to find for themselves. And I know when I was speaking to Jamal and Tanisha, I started to have a conversation. They're like, "Mummy, don't. Just don't." And they just gave me the look of horror. And so, you know, they're just saying, we can find out for ourselves. We're fine. It's all right. It's cool. So, you know, I kind of left them to it. And
when I was a teenager, which was a long time ago, my dad drew me a picture.
Oh. No! I didn't know that about you. Do you want to recreate?
I was about to ask you to recreate.
My dad never said a word about it. I had to find out for myself when we went to school. So a lot of steady on. So that's why I have a 57-year-old daughter I love to death, but it wasn't supposed to be. You know, so careful, lads.
You've lived such just a beautiful and fascinating life, and I feel like that needs to be replicated on screens somehow in the the life story of Rod Stewart. If they were to do it, who would play you and who would play Penny?
Well, I think both my sons could be me. I don't know about you, darling. I can't think of anybody, really, at this moment in time. No one in the family, anyway.
And do you think that you'd give a green light to something like that, a film about your life?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
There was the musical.
Brilliant.
Yeah, of course, there was the musical,
I love it. I really would.
That'd be fantastic.
One day, watch this space.
So are you taking the album on tour, aren't you, next year?
Yes, indeed, Hopefully we're going to be down in Australia and New Zealand. And it's 50-50 because they're still struggling with the COVID. And then we start in
June, July, August.
June, July, August.
Through America.
Yeah, through America. Then Britain this time next year. And 3 appearances, separate appearances at Vegas.
Oh, well, it's great to see you strutting your stuff on stage again. So, Rod, it's been brilliant to have you.